This is such a special, powerful opportunity as we transition into that third phase of our network marketing build. And this is where I've mentioned this before. It's going to require the best version of every single one of you. It's going to require us to really sharpen our saw and really dive in. So as Ariana talks about maybe a soft approach in leadership and really more of a hard, accountable approach to leadership, is something that we say that we want, but are we really prepared for what it's going to take for us to get this company where it is? They've entrusted and empowered us to lead the charge on really building this business out. And as we talk about, it's really a network of consumption. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to transition your mindset is as an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. Transition what that means for you. How are you operating your business? If you were setting up a business and having an employee accountable to your business model, how do you expect that employee to show up? And maybe, just maybe, if whatever that standard is that you want that employee to show up as, you act that same way for your business. If you're expected to show up to work, then show up to work. This is a time for us to dial that in. And I'm going to ask each one of you to really start connecting yourself, your why, to what's going to drive you to build this. We're at a very unique pivoting point where everybody says, I want to be first into a network marketing build. Are you really ready for what it's going to take to be first in a network marketing build? You're seeing the raw, organic process that it goes through to have this. It does require persistence. It does require consistency. It does require hard work. It does require some flexibility as we build this thing and get this thing going. But it's going to require everyone's effort on a collective campaign. We are transitioning now as next month as we go in. So we're literally less than 2 months away from starting our pre-launch. We want to be thinking mindset entrepreneur. And I want to start with the philosophy of network marketing. I'm going to share with you just 2 slides. And in 2 slides, we're going to talk about what is the attraction to the power of network marketing. There's a concept called leverage. It's a completely different mindset from a financial perspective that most people have never been taught through public education. We're taught how to go to school, get a degree so we can go out and trade time for money. This is a different conversation point, and it's so powerful because if we do our part and we lead a charge of setting up a network of consumption, there's a component to how we reward people that is do the effort once and get paid over and over and over again. It does require a consumable product. It does require a subscription for people to reorder that product. And I've always said, add value, money follows it, right? Money follows value. The objective of this discussion and all Saturdays as we train is to add more value for each one of us to take little bits of pieces that we can apply to our business for us to get better at what we do. We tend to worry about the outside influence of everybody around us. We seem to worry about the judgment, the opinions of what people have towards us. But if there's one secret that I could give you, observe the masses and do the opposite. The masses are not living on a concept of leveraged income, having it come over and over and over again. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. They're just trying to find that next little thing. What's that old saying? How much is enough money? The answer, just a little bit more. Because we've never seemed to discipline or understand the value of how we use money as a tool for us to get what we want out of it. I'm going to suggest, I love this concept because it's been dear to my heart for probably the last month or so, that there should be only 2 people that you should try to impress. And that is the 8-year-old version of you and the 80-year-old version of you. That's it. Those are the only 2 people you should think about impressing. The 8-year-old version, because there's something really authentic and just without judgment at 7, 8, 9 years old, where we have a dream and a thought in our mind that we just want to go do something and there's nothing that holds us back. That person you should try to impress. The 80-year-old version is the one who says, I have no regrets. I've lived a good, long, prosperous life. I've took the risk. I did my thing. That person, I hope you live a life to impress that person. So as we get into what we're doing and you start to learn and you gather tools and you have a philosophy change into the value of this industry, This is not something to be embarrassed about. It's not something to hide behind. It's something to learn to gain confidence and competence behind. So I'm going to share with you just 2 slides of a philosophy change into network marketing and the value of it. All right. Y'all should see the slide that we started out with. Okay. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this one, but on the far left is this young cop, highway patrolman, that just only knew one philosophy: trading time for money. I went to school, I got trained and certified in law enforcement, and I became a cop. And through that process of becoming a cop, I only knew one thing. I was trading time to make money with a young family. I needed to trade more time to make money until I ran out of time, and that's as far as it went. And I learned a philosophy change. This is a timeline of life. All of us go through this. We find ourselves getting stuck from 0 to set. So the average life expectancy is around 78 years old statistically. That's about what our timeline is. And we find ourselves in the bulk of that time working. We work 40 to 50 years to create an income to support ourselves. And we do that for the bulk version of our life. And the first 20 years of our life is taught through the public education system. And in that public education system, we're only taught one way of creating income. And that's to go to work and trade that time for money, trade that time for money. That's why most of us do this. It's a linear model. If you don't trade the time, you don't make the money. And we get stuck on that timeline. And the reality of it is most of us really, truly would love to have leverage. We just don't know about it. And we do that usually until about the age 72-ish. And you know why they say 72? It used to be like 65, because that's the time where you start to collect some type of government-assisted retirement. In the States, it's called Social Security, which is kind of comical because it's really not that much to really live. And if you're born after the age of or the year 1977, your Social Security, you don't even have access to it until 72. So the question is, on this timeline, when do we get to really live our life? Well, based upon the timeline that most of us are taught, we live our life on that last segment where we have money coming in and we can live life on our terms. That is not the most exciting timeline. In fact, if you look at that timeline, it's a little bit depressing. Well, there is another timeline. This timeline is just a little bit different. Same thing. The average life expectancy, 78 years old, 0 to 20. You're still going through this education process, but rather than just working for 40 to 50 years, what if we learn an expansion phase? And expansion is growth. We learn a new concept called leverage. And rather than just trading time for money, we leverage something to create the income that supports it. This is the power of what network marketing offers. The reality of it is few people do this. And here's why: they don't know. They just simply don't know. But you've probably heard that old saying, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's not just a health-driven thing. It's an all-over well-being thing. And it's a financial thing. It's a relationship thing. It's a spiritual thing. It's an everything thing. But the reality of it is, if you're willing to open yourself up and explore, which timeline would you prefer if you knew there was a second timeline? And the answer is really pretty simple. We would choose collectively, if we knew about a second timeline, most of us would like to live life on our terms. Well, the benefit of leverage is it's something that is self-educated. Everybody can learn it. Linear is trade time for money. It's constant. It's taught through the public education system, while leverage is the model of wealth of the wealthy. It's residual and it's taught through self-education. All right, here's some quick numbers for you guys, just through the education of why network marketing. If you look at most on the linear model, we are taught how to create income by an hourly basis, a salary, or a commission. So if you look at that, by the way, if you're salaried, you're even getting kind of the raw end of the stick. You'll find yourself working a lot more than 40 hours a week. But on an hourly, if we do some mathematical numbers tied to it, 40 hours a week by around 50 weeks a year, assuming a company is going to give you a week or two of vacation time, that's even starting to become kind of the thing of the past. But if you are going to get a little bit of vacation time, and let's just say you did 40 hours a week for 50 weeks out of the year, you're trading 2,000 hours per year to create some form of lifestyle. And if you did that for the next 40 to 50 years, that means over your lifespan, you're going to trade 100,000 hours to create some form of lifestyle. And the question is, what kind of a lifestyle are you creating? Is it one that you want, or is it one that's more driven behind what the company's willing to pay you? What the company has decided is your value. Oftentimes, it's what they say your value is. If you're going to get paid X amount of dollars per hour and you're hoping that you get a pay increase because it was performance-based or because it was just the kindness out of their heart, because it was cost of living is going up, then you might get a little bit of a pay increase, but you tend to end up getting a house close to where you live. You drive a car that's within your budget, and you end up living a lifestyle built around what the company says your value is. The key to this on the linear model, it's 100% your efforts. And statistics today, and this is the reason why we're having this conversation right now, to start shifting our mind into entrepreneurship and the value of creating higher value. 95% of people will not retire under this model of linear exchange. It's the model that was created in the industrial era. The industrial era was, let's bring people into a classroom, we'll put them in roles, they'll answer to a bell, and we'll start to program their mind to operate the way that we want in a big factory to operate. And if we can do that, we'll give them some form of a pension and a retirement, which, by the way, is a thing of the past. How many of us work for companies right now that actually offer you a full pension? Most people don't even know about that in the workplace. Now they have what's some type of a retirement fund that they might match a small percentage of, but it's a restricted model. It's 100% your efforts. So I'm going to go over to the leverage model. I want you to watch this and follow this through, because this is how we set up a network of consumption. I want your minds to start thinking about how we're going to leverage Lactigo by building a team of people who believe in the story of Lactigo, who believe that there's a better way to exist in life. Is it safe to say that there's 5 people within your entire network, 5 people who are in your entire network who believe in the same idea or would like the idea of another way of living a life? Maybe a secondary timeline, a different timeline, like the one we just showed. Is it safe to say that those 5 people would know 5 people, and that those 5 people would know 5 people? What you see up here is a model of leverage. We are sharing a message to acquire like-minded people. The great thing about this presentation that you're seeing right now and the group of people that are on it, it's like-minded people that have found a story in Lactigo that is very comforting. It has provided value. They've experienced the product. They like it. They want to share it. The company says we're going to provide compensation for you to assemble a team of a network of consumers. It starts to duplicate. 125 people know their 5 people. 625 people know their 5 people. And as you see this number multiplying, you now have 20,000 people that have joined your network. Is it possible that if we learn some skill sets and we learn consistency of following that hard leadership platform where there's accountability, that we show up, that we're putting forth the effort, and even though we all might still be in a linear exchange at some level, we're still living a life right now, we still have obligations, but we've agreed that we're all going to put at least a little bit of effort into our leverage paying asset. In this example, I show 5 hours a week. What if every single entrepreneur on your team, this is your model, this is your numbers duplicating, that everybody committed to 5 hours of effort. 5 hours of effort at 20,000 team members. Entrepreneurs that are working the business has now created 100,000 hours a week of productivity. This is the reason why we can look at the Lactiguys and bring value to them and say we can assemble a network of consumers that are sharing the message and sharing this information out and create mass duplication and create mass growth because of this model right here. It's 100,000 hours a week of leverage that who gains? That you participate in along with your team. So rather than a whole course of a lifetime, you individually, 100% of your effort, trading out 100,000 hours, you're now leveraging the masses of a group of people of producing 100,000 hours a week of productivity into moving a product out to the marketplace. It's this concept that I would rather have 1% of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own. This is what I would refer to as a freedom model. It's a beautiful way of actually creating income. Now, what does that look like in numbers? Well, these are simple numbers of just showing you that if you had 20,000 reps or team members that are part of moving products out to the marketplace, and they only move $200 of Lactigo, that would only be 4 bottles of Lactigo each. If only 20,000 reps only moved 4 bottles of Lactigo each, it would equate to $4 million of volume. $4 million of volume each month that was getting moved out to the marketplace. If your compensation was a mere 5% of leveraged residual income, it would pay you $200,000 per month. Now, I pause because I ask you, if this was possible, well, first, if we could assemble a team of consumers that move that much product out to the marketplace, is it possible that you could create an income significantly greater than what you would get on the linear exchange? Now, keep in mind, we've all committed in this entire network of just, in this example, of just working 5 hours a week. What a powerful idea as an entrepreneur to create an income. The question also has to be posed at $200,000 per month. Do you get to now choose what type of lifestyle you live? Do you get to choose where you live? For those of you who've seen where Barry lives, I think that kind of income would give me a chance to be Barry's next door neighbor. That I could take him on my boat and we could barbecue from my barbecue. I get to choose that. You get to choose where you live. You get to choose who you associate with. You get to choose what car you drive. You get to choose what circles you're involved in. This is the power of leverage, of why I look at this and I say, this is the concept that I want to share and start getting the mindset taught about the power of what we sit in front of. We are now shifting a mindset into leverage. My hope and goal for each one of you is that we start to learn a message of sharing information out and drawing traffic and audience in. Some people will just be consumers, and we love them. We want consumers. We'll naturally see a high volume of consumers. We want that volume coming through our networks. We're also going to find some like-minded people. We are now pivoting to more of an opportunity-driven campaign where we're sharing the story of Lactigo with all the great science that you guys have been hearing. We've had some long conversations on science, and we'll continue to have Chad Macias and Tim Sharp joining us to share value of science. But we want to be very clear on what you should expect as you start inviting people to this opportunity. We have a culture that's being formed, a culture of transparency, of honesty, of integrity. We want a culture driven behind personal development and growth. We want to challenge people to be thinking of their best, to become their best. And if they join us nothing more than the culture, we welcome them, because I promise you that they're going to get a very positive environment where they can learn to become a good version of them. And if that's all, then we've hit a home run for that. But we're also creating a campaign of leadership. We've got a great core of leaders from the commitment from Lactigo with Kevin and Eric and Max, who have lead the charge from the Lactigo corporate side, that are right in lockstep with the Fab Four, that are committed to making sure that we have a very streamlined message. You've heard us talking about Just Try It. What a great campaign that we get to lead the charge on. If we had just a simple step process of sharing a short little video, but I don't know if you guys have seen the video that's starting to circulate. Well, it's a beautiful video. It's got some great content within just a couple of minutes, sharing the story of Lactigo, taking that storyline and moving them to a presentation where they can get good substance. When a prospect can get on a presentation that shares the story of Lactigo, the company, and the history behind it and where we're going, how we can be compensated on driving this forward. and then just try this product. Get that product in front of people. Let them try it. Let them experience it as we move them forward.